Thank you for tuning in to Hacks and Hobbies with your host, Junaid. In Season 2 of Hacks and Hobbies, we're visited by our amazing guests coming from all walks of life. We want to learn their story, their struggles, and their journey on how they got to where they are today. So stick around. In this episode, I get to speak with Ramesh Dontha. He is an entrepreneur, a writer, and a blogger, and I met him through the amazing service called spotedguest.com. And we've talked about the different things that we're doing. And in the green room, I got to learn a little bit about him and what he's been doing with his career. And I was like, let's dig a little deeper. And thank you so much, Ramesh, for coming onto the podcast.
I'm excited to join your podcast, Junaid. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome, my friend. So what's amazing about what I get to do with the podcast is get to learn about the different stories and journeys of other entrepreneurs that have taken that have taken the time to build something that they're passionate about. And I've been passionate about a lot of different things, and I've just been struggling and going through the motions and figuring it out. Okay, what's the first thing that you do? What's the second thing that you do? And you don't realize till much later that you actually need a team to get to a point where you have an autonomy and whatnot. So it's just been an amazing adventure so far. So tell me a little bit about yourself in a journey that no one's heard of before.
That's right. So just a little bit of introduction about myself. Currently I manage a few companies. One of them is a data strategy consulting company. Apart from that, a few things I've done this year. 2019 has been a blast. I started my own podcast early this year in May. It's called The Agile Entrepreneur. And then the second one is I started writing a book, and the book is called The 60-Minute Startup, nice. which will come out in October 2019. So a lot of things have been happening. And the reason I got fascinated by this concept of entrepreneurship and agile entrepreneurship and then the 60-minute startup is because I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been doing multiple businesses for some time. But the very first time I started, it's been a struggle. Trying to figure out which markets to go after, who are the customers, and then what are the niche that I should target, all that stuff. Took me quite a while to do the market research and all that stuff. And then a lot of it's based on the advice that I've been getting from different sources.
Yeah.
Right. But that struggle led me multiple months. And then I said, if I'm struggling for this much time, there may be other entrepreneurs who are struggling as well. So how can we expedite? How can we fast forward this process of starting a business? So that research led me to talk to a lot of people. And then I bottomed out in two things. That the biggest hurdle to a business, to an entrepreneur, is actually starting the business. Number one.
Yes.
Number two is actually getting the first paying customer. Right? Once you get those two, then you learn a lot, and then you'll tweak and you pivot and you can iterate your business model, keep going forward. But many people get lost in the trench, that first chasm that's out there. That's the problem.
You're 100% right. That is on the dot. And a lot of the entrepreneurs that I've been talking to, have in one way or another expressed similar, experiences. And I myself find myself, in that same situation. Like, okay, I've got this idea. I want to get this started. Okay, I've got this started halfway. I've got the website, the logo, everything is set up. What's the next step?
Mm-hmm.
And getting that paying customer is literally the next step. I mean, if you're not getting paid to run a business, then you're just doing it wrong. It's just a hobby.
That is true. That is very true, Junaid.
And being this podcast is around hacks and hobbies, I've just been running hobbies, and I'm trying to convert these hobbies into businesses. So
yeah,
you're the perfect guest to tell us how to get there.
Yeah, definitely. So let me know when you want me to get into the details.
So the first thing, we already talked about a little bit about your journey, how you had the dream of being an entrepreneur, and you being a serial entrepreneur and starting up these businesses and figuring out to the bottom point, how to get started and how to get that first paying customer. And when you're doing that, you're essentially making up your mind that, because a lot of times when you ask a business, like, hey, who's your target audience? And when they say everybody, well, they certainly have not done the research.
Right? That's right. Yeah.
So tell me, how would somebody get started? Let's get into that.
Let's get into that. So then I come from a technology background. I've been so prior to this entrepreneurship, so I was in technology, working for a large tech company. And then during that time, I was exposed to this concept called the agile methodology. It's used pretty heavily in the software development. And this whole agile methodology came into being around 2001 or so. And then since then, it kind of revolutionized the software industry. What the key concept of agile methodology is that the requirements given to a product developer, a software developer, will change, right? So
absolutely.
Instead of taking the requirements in the past, they used to take the requirements and then they'll go to their black room and then develop the software, come back after 3-4 months, and the business owner says, no, this is not what I said, because the business has changed. And then so that it's a waste of time. Instead of that, the requirements are going to change, so you iterate on a fast track, which is every 2 weeks or so. It's called a sprint, right? You develop something, a working model or a proof of concept, and show it to the business owner, and then say, okay, yeah, tweak here to make changes here. And then so on a every once a week or a 2 weeks basis, you're incrementally making the software. And that really revolutionized, right? So, and then that's how these Airbnbs or all these Ubers of the world, they're able to develop the software much faster, that caters to the actual customer requirements.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So then I said, if I can take those concepts, which is a very collaborative approach with the customer, iterative approach, right? So why can't I apply the concepts into entrepreneurship? Then I started talking to entrepreneurs, people who have been successful. I said, hey, where did you start and where are you right now? And every one of them, without exception, they said, where I am right now is not where I started. No. Right? They change the pricing, they change the business model, they change the target customers, whatever it is, but the business kept evolving.
Yeah.
Right? People who can adjust to that evolution will survive. But if they're not able to adjust, but the key here is, how can you adjust it as quickly as possible, realize it. So that's what the agile entrepreneurship is all about, right? So, so in this, the key concepts are, you iterate. You have to accept the fact that you're going to iterate, you're going to pivot, you're going to tweak the model. So don't strive for perfection.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the 60-minute startup, the complete text of the book is, it's a proven system to start your business in 1 hour a day and get your first paying customers in 30 days or less, right? It's That's 1 hour a day and 30 days. So the model is that there are two things that you're going to do in 30 days, right? The first 15 days is all about launching the business.
Yeah.
Right? Every day you're going to sit for 60 minutes and then figure out, okay, today, let's say I'm going to go into do, figure out who my target customers are. Right? And then just 60 minutes, like, don't do overanalyze, don't get into the analysis paralysis, right? And then the next day you will say, okay, what are the things that I am bringing to the party, I call it, like, which is, what is my knowledge, what's my skill, what are my skills, and what's my experience, what are
Yeah.
the assets I have, like a network that I have built over a period of time, the money that I am able to save and put aside. So that's what you put the inventory of them, and that's one day. The other day, you look at some competition. So, but no more than 60 minutes. Just figure that out, and one day you will actually build the website in 60 minutes or so, because you can do it. You don't have to go for a perfect website. You
Absolutely.
want to outsource it, you can outsource it. But just do enough research, just do enough work in the 15 days to launch your business. So every day you're only doing one thing, and then you take a an assessment at the end of the day and said, if I have to push it over to next day, yeah, push it over, right? If I'm done
Hmm.
early, then take the next task. But in the first 15 days, the goal is to launch the business,
Mm.
right? Put it out there, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
some businesses may not even need a website, right? So
That's right.
I will even talk about examples later, right?
Hmm.
And the next 15 days is all about 15 different sales strategies so you can get the first paying
Oh,
customers,
wow.
right?
That's
Every day. So
powerful.
in the book, I give every day one strategy that is
Mm.
used by a successful entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Because all these 30 days, I'm featuring one entrepreneur who's
Hmm.
had success, and
Yeah.
then their story, and then some of the tips and tactics and the mistakes that they made, what we can learn from them. So they translate into these actions on a daily basis, right? So
That's
this
powerful.
book is a actionable, I call it a workbook, not
Hmm.
just a reading book,
Yeah.
right? And then makes you accountable in the sense that you no longer have excuses, right? Every day you're doing
Yeah.
something. So my thing is, within your entire span of 1 year, just give yourself 30 days. Just give yourself
Hmm.
30 days. And then even on those 30 days, just give yourself 60 minutes a day.
60 minutes. That's all
That's
it
it.
takes. Yeah.
If you can't take 60 minutes a day and then 30 days, then probably you should not be dreaming about starting a business.
Very, very true. Truer words have never been spoken before.
So that's the concept of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just make it actionable, accountable, and then actually get it out there. Launch the business. Because I guarantee within 30 days, even if, let's say, for whatever reason you're not successful in launching getting a first paying customers,
Hmm.
you will learn so much about yourself,
Yes.
the market, the customers, that you would not believe it.
You are absolutely right that without the without the testing of anything,
Hmm.
you will not you're not getting any feedback.
Exactly.
And that's why analytics is so important, because as soon as they get that feedback, you start working. It's like when you're driving a car, and if you press the accelerator and the car is not moving, you already got feedback. You know what to do next. Like, oh, maybe my car is stuck. Oh, I need to turn on the car. So start, getting a business off the ground is similar. You get it rolling, and if something's not working, you can go and fix it.
Yep. Exactly. I mean,
But
Junaid, the other thing that if I can say,
yeah.
see, there are in the if you go back and look at the research of why either entrepreneurs don't start a business, people,
Mhm.
here is a statistic. Supposedly, 70% of the US adults want to have their own business. But
Yeah.
in reality, less than 15% actually do something about it.
Hmm.
A huge gap,
Yeah.
70% to 15%. So if you go back and look at why that is the case, right? There are three things that they come about. One is that they don't have time,
Hmm.
right? Number two is that it's stressful. The whole thing is about
Oh my
it's
God.
stressful. Yeah. The third thing is it's too expensive or too much money and all that stuff, right? So if
Yes.
those are the three main things. So my point is, if you give yourself 30 days,
Yeah.
right, you're condensing all those into just 30 days and 60 minutes a day, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Instead of paying for these seminars and workshops for 6 months and 9 months, just you're spending all your money in 1 month. And
Yes.
then the stress related activities or whatever, that it's 1 month. You go through this process, right? And the
Yeah.
time is literally, we said 30 days. So you're addressing all those three pain points that aspiring entrepreneurs think that the problems are, into 1 month. And that way you force yourself to uh, get into the business.
That's that's absolutely powerful, man. That's right. Um, and what that does, it's almost like you doing a 30-day challenge,
Yeah.
right? You're doing a 30-day challenge. You're committing yourself to 1 hour a day, 60 minutes a day, and you do the task to build out your business, no matter what it is. You're putting in that time, being consistent, and that's how workouts work, right? If you're not working out, you're not gonna see any results. So that's a powerful analogy. And then so tying in the agile methodology into this, having a sprint plan out. Okay, this is my 30 days to finish this project, and these are my tasks that I need to do every day, and these are
That
the results, right?
that is right. And then the thing that, because I'm very passionate about this, Junaid, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what I want to do is, we don't have to recreate everything new, right? we
No.
could we could so the book has templates, actual templates that you could use, plug in, so you get started, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then some of these entrepreneurs are, really, good enough to provide us, hey, this is the email template that I used to
Yeah,
go pitch to the magazines,
it's
right?
perfect.
Right,
Yeah,
this is the email template that I use to trade my services, so to get my first referral or testimonial kind of
yeah,
stuff with other, right? So I mean, that's a starting point. I don't have to
it
sit
is.
there and think about, oh man,
No.
how am I going to do it? Okay, this, I might tweak it, I might customize it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's a starting point.
exactly. And that's so helpful. Having those templates, and
Yeah.
that's like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint. They have these templates for you to get started. Letter
Yeah.
template, resume template. So having a business template, like here's a template. This is what you need to do. This is the first thing you need to do. Is beautiful. It's powerful. And I remember taking this live course with Nicole Holland, and she's one of the top podcasters. And she's like, I use Acuity calendar system
Hmm.
for the different emailing ability that they have. They send out 5 emails. Here are my templates. So she gives those templates to us. I'm like, wow, this is perfect. I had not been using those templates at all in the beginning. And as soon as I started using these templates, I was getting more engagement from my customers, more engagement from my guests, because now they know exactly what to expect when they come on to the podcast. The one thing that I haven't implemented yet is the follow up email. The follow
Mm.
up email is super important. And I just didn't think that I have the type of information yet to get it, get that in there. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Excellent.
Really awesome to see that you have templates in this book. I mean, this book is going to be super powerful for a lot of the people that I know, because a lot of people that I know are like, oh, I want to start my coaching business, but I don't know what the different steps are. Well,
Yeah,
look at what
exactly.
other people are doing
Yeah.
and copy that.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. While you were talking, I was just recently, two of my friends and I, we started a film company. I'm
Hmm.
like, we're constantly getting questions from customers and potential customers. They want to shoot a commercial, they want to shoot a short film, they want to shoot a little Kickstarter video, and they're always asking, okay, what's the price going to be? What's the price going to be? What's this
Hmm.
going to be? So we're like, we have kind of a template. Okay, this is basic stuff that you want to do. But I was like, we want to be able to track these projects also. So I started using Trello. And as you were talking about, if you got the 30 days and the 30 different challenges that you're going through, I was like, what if there was a Trello board that you can start and follow these day after day, and all the tasks that you need to do are listed for you? Because that's another big problem a lot of people have, and myself included.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to make lists. Like, I'll make a list, and then I would get distracted and I go start doing something else.
Right.
I think that would be another value added if
That is excellent idea, Junaid. I mean, actually, I've been thinking about it, but Trello, like a tool, is
yeah.
it's fantastic. Yep.
Hmm. Yeah, and if you even if you white labeled something, right, that ties into the book. So you have the book, and then somebody who buys the book, they have access to 30 days of this application where they can then track all their progress. And as they're going and doing this thing, they get an email response or they get a reminder, something to keep them engaged with the book, with you, and how they become your audience as well. Because not only are they learning from the book, but they also have a digital resource to subscribe.
Hey, actually, Junaid, in an agile way, we are actually, really made something happen here.
Nice.
Right? So
Yes,
we
we have.
created an application that goes along with the book,
Yeah.
used on a Trello. So I think I'm going to steal your idea if you don't mind.
No, go for it, man. Go for it. That's what that's what's awesome about collaborating and talking with people with similar mindsets is you come up with these ideas. And one of the things that I totally loved working with my buddies back in Santa Ana, it was my cousin, friend of mine, and they basically started this centric media, and we would get customers coming in and asking for advice. And the 3 and 4 of us, we would always be talking about ideas of how something could be built, and we'd be talking about ideas of apps ideas and whatnot. And it was just so much fun. What's really exciting after the fact is that getting those ideas and execute them.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's the toughest part.
Yeah, the ideas are cheap. Action is right. So actually acting on it is that's why I'm saying, right. So this whole thinking about starting a business, this is a real life example which we are going to implement. A friend of mine, so he trains nurses on CPR kind of stuff, right? Especially when some critical things happen, how to train them. And he's got a very neat method of training them so that they can remember when actually it happens, because these things don't happen on a daily basis. So suddenly when it happens, the nurses or some of the technicians might forget, hey, what should I do if this is the case, what should I do if that's the case, kind of stuff. So he developed a memory aid, and he actually trademarked it. But he never acted on the business idea. He's been thinking about it, and then he's put it on the shelf for the last 2 years. Right? He actually trademarked it, and he knows what the method is and all the stuff. And he got really rave reviews and testimonials when he trained them. They said it helps them remember and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I went and approached him, and I said, I didn't approach him about the business. I told him about the book, and suddenly he remembered this one. So we are actually, I'm explaining for the first time in public and outside, is that we are actually going to implement this business, right? We're going to start this business and then do it in 30 days for a business that's been sitting, business idea, right? That's been sitting,
sitting on the shelf,
for quite some time, and no action has been taken. So together we're going to do a live, video blog and blog kind of reality show.
That's so much fun.
Yeah, a reality show of it in 30 days. Every day we'll be updating the audience, public, actually. Hey, what we are doing and that kind of stuff. And so we are going to plan that in the next 2 weeks, and just putting the preparations there.
Dude, I'd love to follow that journey. That sounds really exciting. One of the ideas that I've had for the longest time was back when I was working at Dish. And again, I somehow find people that have similar mindsets and we talk ideas.
Yeah.
And one of the ideas that I had was, it'd be really great. I'm driving from all this distance every day. If somebody else was also needed a ride, we could just hop on and share the ride. Or if I needed a ride, I could just hop on. And then right around that time, Lyft came out. And I was like, holy smokes. Because I had heard of Uber Black, but that was only reserved for black limousines. And then Lyft came out just around the same time. And when Conan O'Brien introduced it on his show with Ice Cube and what's his name, Kevin Hart, I was just, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And immediately I went and signed up to be a Lyft driver.
I see.
And I was like, that was my idea, dude. And then around the same time, I had another idea that I was working with my two friends, and it was that, a lot of the times people at work that commute, you're commuting for 1 hour and you want to get groceries, but you don't have the time to get groceries. But what if you can go inside an app and pick all the groceries you want and have somebody else shop for you? They're done shopping and they can hand you the bag as you drive up to the store. And now we can see. And then around the same time, I heard Instacart got funding for $44 million. I was like, holy smokes, that was my idea. Right? So it's the implementation power and having those connections, because the guy who started Instacart, he had been at Amazon for a while. He ran the Prime division. And so he had access to developers. He had access to implementers. And having access and having that team is super, super important.
Oh, actually, so now that you're bringing another good point, which is, see, this podcast that I started in May, you would not believe it that I started that in literally 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Amazing.
So my idea of the podcast somehow it occurred to me like in April timeframe.
Mm-hmm.
Then, but having that, see how I was able to do it in 3 weeks is because I had the right team. Because I was able to find this gentleman on Upwork, because in one evening I was sitting there and I said, hey, I need a good somebody who can create this jazzy website thing with the podcast experience. And then I just put it out there. And then this gentleman reached out to me within one day. And then he has experience in creating this authority websites, like authors, trying to create a personal brand, and podcast hosts creating a personal brand. Yeah. So he knows that experience. Yeah. And then for less than $1,000, we were able to get that up and going. And then I could focus on the content side, right? Because I have a good team that's focusing on the technology. So I call him a technology partner. Yeah. Then I could go and focus on the content side, get the entrepreneurs, get the podcast episodes edited and all that stuff, right? Yeah. And then literally in 2 months, we launched it. And then by end of June, we recorded about 25 episodes.
Nice.
Like we just went crazy on that one. We were able to select the entrepreneurs and all that stuff. So in a very agile way we were able to do it, but that was only possible because I had the right team.
Yes.
Right. And then last year I was struggling, not having the right team to get these things, different things going, but I never found the right quote unquote technology partner.
Yeah. No, it makes a huge difference. And that's why companies that are using an agile methodology, they have every single person is different. I mean, every person in the team brings different experiences and different expertise, and that is what makes the team run efficiently and get the work done.
Yep.
Very powerful.
Yep, agree with that.
All right, man. Let's see. We've covered the journeys. We've covered the motivations behind why we as entrepreneurs and coming up with ideas and creating these things, why we do this. And we also covered on how, using your book, somebody can start a business in 30 days and get their first paying customer within the 30 days or less.
Yep. And then with 60 minutes. And the book is called 60. Yeah.
It's called 60 Minutes.
Startups. The 60-minute startup.
The 60-minute startup. Perfect. Yep. I love it.
Yeah.
So, Ramesh, I've got a few questions that I ask my guests. And these are some of the questions that personalize us and connect us from on a different level altogether. If you wanted to add something else, we're happy to add it in.
Sure, definitely.
All right. So what is one hobby that you wish you got into?
Acting.
Nice.
Yeah. So I I mean, if you have not figured out, I am an
Mm-hmm.
extrovert.
Yeah.
I enjoy talking to people, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. But I'm also, just a little bit of, on the quirky side, like crazy side. I
Mm-hmm.
do things. So acting, it's something, yeah, definitely what I've gotten into.
Nice. Well, it's never too late. You are in California.
That's right.
There is an app called backstage.com. Check it out when you get a chance.
Oh, I see.
All right. I signed up with backstage.com last year, and so far I've done a few gigs where I got to be the principal or I got to be an extra in a film set or a TV show. It's been pretty exciting, especially being on the other side of the camera, because I myself is a video shooter, so it's been pretty exciting. So
Okay.
check out Backstage when you get a chance. All right, what is your favorite movie or TV show?
Favorite movie or TV show? I don't know, but I always in liked the historical
Mm-hmm.
movies. And then I go back to, like this Roman history. It really fascinates me.
Yeah.
So and originally, I go back to looking at some of the NPR work that I've done, and some of the Roman history, like I Claudius series. It's one of my all-time favorites. Favorite. It's not current. I know.
Yeah.
I understand that, but
Doesn't need to be.
it doesn't need to be. But things like Gladiator and those things.
Oh my God, that's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. So it's
So good.
it's a historical stuff. Really
Mhm.
fascinates me.
Fantastic. All right. What movie would you choose if you got to play a character in it?
That is a very if what movie would I choose if I could play? Um, The Big Short is probably something that I would play. Right. I know people who are not familiar with it. This is where when the 2009 crash happened in the
Oh yeah, that
marketplace.
was a good one.
Yeah, it's where they profile this gentleman who actually predicted that, and then
Mhm.
so he wrote a book on that one. So the movie is based on that book. So
Nice.
it's all about business. It's all about the emotions of people, how they get caught up in the frenzy. It's yeah, something like that.
I'd be really interested to interview that guy right now
Yeah,
because it's almost 10 years since that big crash happened.
that's right.
And I'm wondering if it's coming again, because everything in this world happens in a cycle,
In cycle.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like we're around that edge again. It's weird.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. That's next question. Who is your favorite superhero?
Definitely, I know some of the drama that's going on between Sony and then I think it's a Marvel or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
with the Superman versus Spider-Man and all that stuff, right? So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, so but my favorite is Superman.
Nice. Superman is one of the
All time.
most iconic characters. I mean, the entire industry is built around him, and there's this new show on Amazon called The Boys.
Mm.
You'll have to check that one out.
No, I have not seen. Actually, I'm going to check it out. Yeah.
It's very eerie, and everything that you know about superhero, it puts into questioning what it all is. And so it's really really interesting. It's almost like Flashpoint. And I don't know if you've seen Flashpoint, but it's an all. So if you know Flash, he can run fast and
Oh yeah.
go back in time.
Yeah, right.
So he ended up in Flashpoint where the Justice League took over the world, and they were like, "We're superheroes. We're gonna control. Nobody's gonna like we're we are superpowers." And they didn't. They basically are the tyrants essentially. So The Boys is a take on that.
Wow, that's
in a very very nicely done.
Okay, I'm going to check it out.
Yeah. Awesome. Last question. If you were a board game, what would it be?
That's a really good question, man.
Thanks.
The thing is, I always liked Monopoly for whatever reason, right? So it's like, and as a family, we play during the holidays and all that stuff. So Monopoly is something that I really, really love.
Nice.
Something that, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Ramesh, this was a lot of fun talking with you, especially when we're jiving in the same frequency and talking the same talk and having that ability, that experience with being in the agile environment. Because I'm a user experience designer, coming from that environment. I mean, I've been exposed to that for the past 20 years, and agile is just amazing, having that iterative functionality and being able to create something out of nothing 2 weeks at a time. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I agree with that, because one of the main things that we all, I think, struggle with is what I call the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Right. So, I mean, the way to tackle all these things is, actually do something, learn from that, and then if you're going to fail, you just learn from the mistake and failure, which we don't want to fail. I mean, we're afraid of failing, but it's part of life, right? So acknowledge and accept it, and then remember when we are actually growing up, when we are trying to walk. I mean, you fall so many times.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right, and when you're trying to ride the bike, learn to ride the bike. I mean, fall so many times,
fall all the time.
Yeah, each fall is not. It's good, and you don't like it, but you learn from it, and then pretty soon you learn to walk and you learn to ride the bike. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that way, but go ahead and get that website out there. Go ahead and put a email marketing out there, and then get rid of that fear. Like, hey, tell your friends and family that I got the business. We are afraid that, hey, what will they think of me? What if I fail? So embarrassed. So what? It's like just get it out there, and then once you overcome that initial fear, you'll keep going.
That's so powerful, man. I love it. So the thing that you need to get over the FUD is overcome the fear and
the uncertainty you can overcome by going, like, for example, the templates, or looking at the examples of other things. Then it becomes a little bit more certain. Okay, I don't know how to send this email to this person. Hey, there's a template, this is worked out for them. Then it reduces that uncertainty.
Exactly.
Right. And then the doubt is something that we got to work on, right? Self-doubt, doubting ourselves, thinking that others are doubting. That is something that we got to keep constantly working on. I mean, I can't really give much. I mean, I myself struggled with that doubt for quite some time in the beginning, right? I mean, but each success adds to that doubt. Even the learning from a failure will add to that, will help you with that. Yeah,
you're absolutely right, man. So Ramesh, thank you so much. And folks can get in touch with Ramesh. My audience can find you on rameshdontha.com. I'll be sure to include the link on the podcast show notes. Thank you so much, Ramesh. This was really delightful and insightful and mind-opening. There's a lot of actionable stuff in here.
Okay. Thank you, Junaid. I really appreciate it. And I'm quite active on LinkedIn. So if people want to connect with me on LinkedIn, Ramesh Dontha, look out for me. I publish a lot on LinkedIn. And then Junaid said rameshdontha.com, contact at rameshdontha.com. I check all my emails. It's been a fun podcast here, Junaid. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
And thanks for the tip on the Trello, by the way.
Of course, man. You got it.
Yeah.
Right. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the episode. Thanks so much for listening to our guest on this episode. Please send me an email at junaid@hacksandhobbies.com to tell me what you loved about our guest today. You could find links mentioned in this episode on the hacksandhobbies.com website.